So welcome to a new Game Stuff episode, and I can't wait to show you guys some of the items that I picked up over the last few months. Some really fascinating items are in here as well. But before I begin that, I want to dedicate this episode to Philip Blackburn. And this person behind the scenes was very important for the show, for me personally, he was my hair cutter. He was my hair cutter for 12 years. And I think I had about 288 haircuts with him. And he lost his battle with cancer about a week and a half ago. And let me say, I love this man. He was absolutely my friend, my confidant, the therapy I didn't know I needed. And every 2 weeks I would see him. I'd get a haircut. The haircut would take half an hour, but I'd be there for an hour and a half and we'd be talking about all sorts of ridiculous things, from aliens and conspiracy theories to history to life, you know, all the things that really were important. And Philip was also in the Happy Console Gamer movie that I made. He was the head engineer, head scientist that created the greatest video game of all time. And I'm really happy that I have that to remember him by as well. But I just really want to say how much I really love this man. I adored him, and I am so sorry that he's passed away, and that my entire condolences go out to his family. I mean, he will be so missed. He was such a man of such life and energy. He will always be with me for the rest of my life. So to begin today's episode, the first item that I want to show is something very, very fascinating, something really cool, something really unexpected. And that was from Chris Tang, the Sega World Champion. He sent me this Keith Courage, Nova Suit recreation box that he did, and I thought it was awesome. And so I showed that on another new Game Stuff episode, and he wrote to me and he's like, "Dude," he goes, "you didn't open up the box." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "There was something inside." Well, I did open it up, but I didn't look at the bottom, because he included something very, very special and unreal, really unreal. This is what it was. I'm gonna open this up and show you. A lot of you will be saying, "What the heck is this? What the heck is this?" This is a little pouch that you would get when you would go to the Cosmic Fantasy arcade in Hawaii in the very early 90s. And so I covered Cosmic Fantasy, the series, and when I was in Hawaii, I went to where the arcade used to be. It was a really amazing classic arcade back then. And Chris used to live in Hawaii, and he would go to the Cosmic Fantasy arcade while it was open. And get this. Look at this. This is what's amazing about it. 2 tokens from the original arcade. So you'd pay money and you'd use tokens all throughout, and that's why he would give you this. So for me, I love the Cosmic Fantasy series. I loved going to the arcade and kind of having that nostalgia of seeing where it used to be and kind of revisiting the 90s. So for Chris to give me one of these you can't even get this on eBay or anything. It's a part of lost history. There used to be Street Fighter competitions all the time at Hawaii at this location. Amazing. So I want to thank Chris Tang right now for this item. It definitely went to the right home. And that's a perfect segue to get into our next item, which would have been at that arcade back in the day, and that is Samurai Shodown, the vinyl records right here. Fantastic. This finally showed up, and I thought I'd have a look of what is inside here right now. You know what? I needed this knife back in the day, because I've told the story, I'll tell the story again while I open this up, that the very first time I ever saw Samurai Shodown was in Hawaii. And I was at a little arcade, and my parents went off to do something for the night. I was 20 years old, and I almost got mugged. I was surrounded by all these gangsters while I was just like looking at the game. And I totally backed up and I got my way out of that situation. If you want to hear the full story, I think it's something called like Samurai Shodown Rocks. So anyways, back to this. I love this game. I absolutely adore this game, and I adore the music. The music is so incredible. So I thought we'd have a look at this right now. Look at this. This is why I like these big vinyls. box sets is because they have all of the artwork. Oh, look at this. All of the artwork in here. That's why it feels like you're really buying something. It's good to get stuff on MP3 and all that, I get it. But I really like physically owning something. I really do. If you download something, that's cool. You can take that with you and it's awesome. But you don't get stuff like this. And I'm a guy that likes to have a physical representation of the things that I love. And wow, this is really interesting. So this is what you see inside. But here is the very first disc. Okay, perfect. You know, I gotta say this. I really like all the different colored vinyls they do nowadays, but I really like just standard black. And the reason why, so I can see where the next song is gonna be. Some of these colorings they do on these things, I don't know where the songs are gonna be. So we have some beautiful artwork going on here. You know, so my favorite track in the game is, I love the title track when you're picking your character, but Earthquake. Earthquake has got the best music in the entire game. It's just so rocking and amazing. I remember I used to be in the arcades and I would put my ear right to the little speaker so I could hear Earthquake's song, and I was like, my God, that is so great. It's so amazing. So very happy to get this. I can finally go into the other room and listen to this now. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, before Christmas came, as you know, you can see it here, one of my favorite games of 2019 was Link's Awakening. It really awakened something inside of myself from the 90s, and it really was like a fever dream, no pun intended, that took over my brain. I finished the game twice last year because I could. I just did. I loved it, and I thought it was such a great, charming little game. I loved going to 7-Eleven and getting the Slurpee cups. There was a lot of fun in 2019, wasn't there, compared to where we're at now? But I ordered off Amazon the Dreamer edition, and guess what happened? Crushed. Because you just put it in a little, bag or whatever. No box or protection or anything like that. So when it arrived, it was just flattened, and I was like, I wanted to have the pristine box because to honor the game, because the game was that great. So I finally went on Craigslist here in Vancouver, and I found somebody who had a beautiful sealed copy where it wasn't bent. And I was like, thank God, because there was a lot of people putting things on Craigslist that I think had the same squished version I did, because I think they shipped them out all the same way. And I'm like, no, I really want it precise and beautiful. So when I met this person, they said that they got it from EB Games, and that's why it's in such great condition. And it's a way for me to honor this game by having this. And I also have the soundtrack on CD that I got, I think, was it last New Game Stuff episode? I think I showed it in the last new one, for sure. I love this game. If you haven't played it, give it a go. I think you'll really be impressed. Now, it was Rob's birthday a couple of weeks ago, and we had a little get-together here for him. It was Rob, myself, and my friend Satan, also known as Aaron. He does have a real name. So we got together for a day of hanging out, drinking, and video games, and crazy movies, crazy B-movies, stuff like that, where something unexpected happened that day. This is the really weird thing. I brought out Blazing Chrome on the PS4. I have it on the PS4, and I also have this version from Limited Run Games that showed up for the Nintendo Switch. So here's the thing with this game. I said, hey guys, you want to play it? Because my friend Satan, he loves Contra, absolutely adores Contra. He used to draw all these levels of Contra and bosses for games that never existed. He made up his own stuff, and it was amazing. And so I said, do you want to play it? And he said, yeah, because he doesn't have a PS4. He hasn't been up to date with all the latest systems. He's kind of caught in the past a little way, and he likes being there. So him and Rob start playing Blazing Chrome, and I start watching them. And it was absolutely, what a fantastic afternoon of old school run and gun shooting and jumping. And oh my God, they were going crazy. I was going crazy. I was like, guys, because they get to a boss character just at the last minute. They almost beat him, then he die. It was very, very difficult. It was really reminiscing back to the old days of gaming, where you just do a level over and over and over again till you get it right, till you can move on. And at the end of the day, they finished the game. And we had this like little proud moment. I was their cheerleader, like going like this, yeah. You know, when they finally finished it, it felt so good. And that was the highlight moment of the day. Isn't it something about getting your friends over and finishing a game together and laughing and swearing at each other? That's Blazing Chrome for us, that's for sure. So I'm really glad that we could see the end of the game, and great stuff, really beautiful artwork in there. Okay, so something happened. Xseed sent me a copy, sent me this right here, where it's not this version. They sent me this and they did the Amazon packaging. It got crushed in the mail. And so I wrote to them and I said, listen, it got crushed in the mail. I couldn't bear to show it on the show that way. So I'm just going to go and buy a copy of it, because I was going to do that anyways. And I said, because I really want to highlight how much I think the game is really cool. And I want to see, show everybody the pristine packaging of it, rather than a squished up little box going, oh, this is E-Celceta, which would kind of match E-Celceta. E-Celceta, what I'll say about that, I have a review up on the channel. I think it's a good Ys game. Is it the best Ys game? No. Is it the worst Ys game? No. Is it average? Yeah. Is it above average? Probably that's where it would be, for sure. The graphics are really okay. The bosses are okay. The gameplay is a lot of fun though. So the grinding and fighting, wave after wave of monsters, that's where you'll have a lot of fun. But, it's Ys, and for me, I'm a huge Ys fan on the show, and I wanted to have a pristine copy of it so I can put it up on my shelf and remember the memories of playing it, because I did have a fun time playing it. If you played 8, you're looking for more Ys, I don't think you can kind of go wrong with this, for sure, but understand it's not like a 10 out of 10 game. It's like probably like a 7.58 game for sure. Okay, this is an interesting one. I picked this up. I'm going to put it in the next few weeks, and that is Sakura Wars, right here. This is an interesting series for me because the history that I have with it is on the Dreamcast. I got a copied version of it, and I started to play it, and the claim to fame for me, because I'm not an expert on this series, I'm just being dead serious here. What the claim to fame for me was at the time, the animation was absolutely incredible. I mean, I would look at the animation and it was so, well, it was at the time, like in the 1990s, early, brand new 2000s. The character designs, the coloring, the backgrounds, the mecha. It's a strategy game going on in there with a lot of story elements happening as well. And I was fascinated by the game. I love the opening theme song from back in the day. I used to have it in the car with me all the time. I'd always be listening to it. Because I don't sound like cheesy, but I'm like, that song is so anime. It was such a great anime song. I really enjoyed it. So I thought I'd take a chance and pick this up and play it and see how it is. So I have no idea what to expect. I've not read a single review, but I've been fascinated. And I also wanted to show my support so we get more games like this over here. So, by Sega. This is by Sega. So, see how this is. What do you guys think of the game? What do you guys think of the game? No spoilers, though. Okay, this was from Limited Run, and it is the ADK collection. 5 classic games return from the good old days of SNK. So these are all Neo Geo classics. Why did I get it? Because I'm a sucker for the Neo Geo. I mean, whenever I see Neo Geo games re-released, I'm like, how many Neo Geo games have I rebought? How many times have I bought Samurai Shodown and the King of Fighters? I mean, too many. But this is one that I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it's got Ninja Combat on here, Ninja Masters, Ninja Commando. You kind of get the idea. And I have Ninja Combat up here. Great classic game in the arcades. And I was like, I'll take a chance. I'll pick this up. So another collection to add to the collection. Here we go. I didn't show this months ago when I originally picked them up. It's right here. Seiken Densetsu 3, Trials of Mana. What a wonderful game. It's up there as one of my games of the year. It'll be in that list for sure. I think for me personally, 2019 was an incredible bucket list year of getting rid of some old games, off my chest that I finally got a chance to finish. And one of them was Seiken Densetsu 3, the original on the Super Famicom, that they translated in the Mana Collection. And then finally, we got the remake this year, and I got a chance just to play it as a fan, and I loved it. That's the thing, I didn't review it or anything like that, and they sent me a review copy, and I never got to it. I never took it on because I just wanted to play the game on my own as a fan. It was just one of those things. It's just, yeah, you gotta keep the passion alive when you're doing a show on YouTube, and you gotta keep it real for you, or you'll just burn out. You'll burn out. I've learned that a long time ago. I keep it the way I want it, and that's why I only review games I think I'm going to enjoy on the channel, because this is something that's supposed to be a pleasure for me. Video games are a pleasure, so I'm keeping it a pleasure. Okay, Resident Evil 3. I did a first thoughts on this video, and it was interesting because I went into the comment section afterwards, and people were freaking out, not at me, but at the game. They were freaking out at the game, that they thought the game wasn't long enough and some pieces of it were missing from the original. I haven't gone to do the research on it at all. All I can say is I finished the game after my first thoughts. I never went back and did the final thoughts because it wasn't that long afterwards. So it was like, I really kind of summed up in the first thoughts. What are my thoughts on Resident Evil 3? Still, now that it's this kind of like a final thoughts right here. I like the game quite a lot. I do. It's based on nostalgia from the past, from like 1999. We're talking 20 years at this point. I liked it back then, and back then it was a short game, so it wasn't a surprise that it would be a short game as well. Should they have added a little bit more? Potentially, for sure. They should have added a little bit more. Resident Evil 2 feels like such more of a fleshed out game, but it's bigger in design by the way it is. I wish that Resident Evil 3 could have been expanded a little bit more, but I paid full price to own the game as well, because any game that I review that I like, I will always pick up as well down the road, and Resident Evil 3 is going up into the collection there with all the rest. I love it that I have all of the games together now on PS4. All the Resident Evil games are finally complete, and I think there's something really cool about having that. That's just me. I think it's cool. Okay, this is a bit of a surprise. This is a bit of a surprise to go through. This is sent from my friend Jimmy Hapa in Japan, and we've had a little bit of a back and forth of sending stuff. So Jimmy sent me a package, and then I sent him the Sparkster vinyl record set, and then I'm like, okay, we're even. And then this showed up, and I'm like, God damn it, Jimmy. I'm like, God, don't do this to me, for sure. So we'll have a look at this. What is this? This is a mystery thing from Japan. Now, Jimmy was selling some stuff in some auctions that he was doing in Japan. One of the games, I said, listen, I want to buy this game off you. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And I never heard back from him again. But guess what? He just sent it to me. And that is Labyrinth on the Famicom. This, I love things like this. I loved getting Willow as well like this. This is so wonderful, so nostalgic. Obviously based on the movie from back then. What a movie it was, a classic. Even me and Kim have seen it in the theater a couple of times since then, and it's been really a lot of fun. And here is Labyrinth, the game, kind of an overhead kind of RPG, action RPG thing. I don't know exactly how the gameplay goes, but I love the nostalgia going on there. And look at that great David Bowie in the back. This, to me, is a true treasure and something that I'm really thankful for. Like, thanks, Jimmy. This is really amazing. When we opened this up, Kim cried. And this is such a thoughtful item that I was like stunned by. I'm just gonna show you. So as some of you know, maybe not all, we're expecting our first baby. It could be any day right now. Kim's waiting in the other room right there. She's got her legs up. I got her some ice on her legs because she has some swelling and all that. And Yeah, so we're expecting a baby any day now. And Jimmy sent us some baby bibs and a little baby slime hat. Isn't that great, from Dragon Quest here? So this is the hat. And these are the bibs for feeding the baby with. And I think that's great. And yes, we're having a little girl. We're really excited about that. So I think these colors are perfect. I mean, when I saw these things that Jimmy sent, I was like, look at this. I love it. I'm getting like video game baby stuff, and I think it's so fun. We've got a little rattle going on there, Pikachu rattle. Oh man, Jimmy, thank you, man. I mean, this is so great. Oh, a slime onesie for a little girl. Oh my god. I know I haven't talked about it behind the scenes, but I'm so excited about having a baby for me and Kim. I mean, it's something we wanted for many years, and we didn't think it was in the cards for us at one point, and then boom, that's when it happened. So we're very thankful. We're very thankful. And so thank you, Jimmy, for all this stuff. Here's some little baby wipes going on there. Well, just for wiping the mouth kind of thing. Very, very nice. And some delicious Japanese candy going on here. What is this? Oh my god. I haven't even opened this up yet, so just give me a sec. Oh my god. All this Japanese candy. Oh, I gotta go give that to Kim. Oh, some Animal Crossing going on over there. That's great. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. And one last item is in here. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Look at this. It's a little baby slime book. I will have to teach my daughter Japanese. That's great. You know what, Jimmy? This is just great to show her as a picture book. I can say slime. And she's got a king slime next to her crib. So that's really great. She won't be in the crib for a long time, but it is there. Oh, that's some nice looking stuff. Some really nice looking stuff. So, Jimmy, thank you so much. I mean, to get Dragon Quest baby items, that blew me away that day. And Kim was crying, and we sent Jimmy a video to thank him, and very thoughtful of him. And so I'll put his channel down below. Go check him out. He does some great reviews. Jimmy, keep it up. Keep up the videos, man. Don't stop. Jimmy Hapa down below. Definitely subscribe. Now, 2 more items to go, and we're out of here. This one just showed up before I did the episode, and it just came at the right time. Here is... Does anybody remember this book? So, in the other room, I have a big Dungeons and Dragons shelf with all my, all my games on it, all the old stuff and all the old modules, and it's one of those things I go and look at, and it really makes me happy. It kind of takes me back to like 1988, 89, playing with my friends down the street, and does a lot of really wonderful memories for me that way. Where there was another RPG that we were playing back then, and I remember my friends having this book, this hardbound book here. You can get the softcover as well, but this one. And I always look up at my shelf. I've looked up for years and said, Shadowrun, the book should be up there. That needs to be up there. It'll feel more complete with that there. And so I went onto eBay and I found this, and it wasn't too expensive. I picked it up. Oh my God, the nostalgia. Look at that cover alone. Isn't it funny how one picture can tell 1,000 words? This can tell 10,000 words. The stories just from this picture alone, the imagination that it sparked with us when we were younger, and all we wanted to do was be punks and to take over and hack into the internet. This is before the internet. It was such a wild time and such a cyberpunk future, and it's kind of getting me ready for Cyberpunk 2077. And oh yeah, oh my god, I haven't looked in the book. Oh my god, a shaman, a street mage, street samurai, street shaman. Oh my god, I forgot about all these. This is great stuff. I'm glad I bought this. So you see my first reaction to opening it up and remembering back to the days. Holy jeez. Oh, look at it. Accessing the Matrix. Accessing the Matrix. So cool. So cool. A lot of great memories. Oh yeah, look at the artwork is great in it. This is from 1989. 1989, and really wonderful book. So happy to have this, to put it up on the shelf, and finally I have the Shadowrun source book. Really neat. And one last thing, I got this from my friend at Classic Game Room, Mark. Does everybody remember Mark at Classic Game Room? I think a lot of you will, who are still hanging out for this end of the episode. This is Ethel, the Cyborg Ninja. And this is a comic book that he did, and he sent to me, and so awesome. He says, to Johnny Millenium, stay rad, Mark. And I just want to say that during the pandemic, me and Mark sat one night through Zoom, and we sat for a couple of hours, and we had a couple of beers each, and we just talked about the 80s and our lives and stuff like that, and it's really, really cool, and happy to have Mark be a part of my life in some regard, even if it was through Zoom. And it's really cool to talk to another older guy about the old days, about G.I. Joe and, the Galaxy Rangers and stuff like that and all of that. And really great of him to send me his comic book. And I showed him a lot of my old comic books that I used to do. And we were reminiscing with each other about, old comics that we did in the 80s and 90s. And I had all mine. And I went in the other room and I brought them out and I showed him. He's like, oh my God. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. So great. Thanks for the comic, Mark. I really appreciate it quite a lot. And that brings us to the end of this new game stuff episode. And so maybe if you don't see me again for a little bit, I might have had a baby, but don't worry. I will be back in the future. So anyways, guys, until next time.